Hello guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Of course, if you are new here, consider subscribing, and of course if you are a returning subscriber, you know what you have been doing. Finger that bell, like our video, share our video widely so that you can continue supporting us. Thank you so much guys, and of course I'm not alone. I'm always with
Hamisi Moy.
yes, and of course I am Victor T. Hamisi Mwai is a psychologist and also a counselor. So Hamisi Mwai, how have you been?
I've been good this week.
Yes.
I am thanking God
Okay.
because, as you know, as you always will say, it is not something that we demand. Just when the mercies of God, we are here. Yes.
Oh, that's good. And today, Mr. Hamisi, I want us to talk about previously we had been handling personalities, and today I want us we take just one personality, which is a phlegmatic personality. I want us we discuss about what is it all about, what does it contain, what are these traits that you can see so that somebody can say or identify that this one has this phlegmatic personality.
Yes.
So kindly let us know what is this phlegmatic personality. Let us understand.
Personality
Yes.
is another name called also temperament. And before we come to phlegmatic, of course, let us shed a light
Yes.
in the other personality so that someone can differentiate what we are talking about.
Okay.
Because there are four personalities. We have sanguines and cholerics and melancholic. And then we have now the phlegmatic. These are, according to creation, people are created differently. It is not something that we ask. We just find ourselves the way we are.
Okay.
And it's not something that you go to school to learn. So there are some people find themselves just quiet, others talkative, others so much critical and thinking and perfection, others different places, different ways. These are things that God chose to create us in four temperament or personalities, maybe just so that we can blend.
Okay.
So today you said you are going to speak about phlegmatic. That's one of the four temperament. And in this temperament or personality, let me use the word personality because it's a commonly used word. Is a person who finds themselves that they are not aggressive. They like keeping to themselves. They don't like argument. Sometimes they even don't want to give their opinion about issues. Sometimes you ask them, what is your opinion here? And they say, whatever you have said is okay. So they don't really want to be in the limelight. These are people who are just behind there. They like supporting things. They just like to be back there, not being seen very well. So if you are like that, it is not that you have a problem. It's not that maybe you are born with deformities or something like that. This is just one of the personalities that we have.
So you say this is something that you are born with?
You are born like that. You are wired to behave like that.
So it's not something, is it something that you can unlearn, or, I mean, you can do away with it, or?
You know, when you have some kind of personality, then you are naturally wired to act in a certain way.
Yes.
But then in every personality, because there is no better personality than the other or greater personality than the other, in every personality we have advantages and disadvantages. Now in the area of disadvantages, someone may decide, although I am naturally inclined to behave like this, these one or two, three things in my life, they are derailing me, and they are refusing me opportunity. They are stopping me from even being competitive with the other personality. So those small disadvantages of your personality, those ones you can actively work on, and you can unlearn some of those personalities. So it is hard because you are naturally like that. But you can learn new traits like from other personalities, and you can also unlearn some of the things. For example, for one of the personalities, there are people who are very perfectionist. And this keeps colliding them with their spouses, at workplace, with their children, because they are very they are perfectionists in every area. So when you see you are colliding with people because of that, even though it is natural in you, maybe you can now start to unlearn that behavior and learn better behavior. Yes.
So I'm trying to imagine. You talked about this somebody who moves with the wind. You know, when somebody else decides let's move in this direction. This somebody, this one, this
the phlegmatic.
the phlegmatic. They follow the other person, what he or she says.
Yes.
So I'm I'm trying to imagine. Don't you see that somebody can take advantage of this?
They do. That is a disadvantage of phlegmatic. Remember, I said there are advantages and disadvantages of these personalities, and one of the disadvantages is that this person can be taken advantage of because sometimes they even keep their opinion to themselves just to make sure there is peace. They even compromise their own take and their own stand just to make sure there is no conflict, there is no aggressiveness in there. Maybe in a marriage setup, they will just keep quiet when they are hurt, so that there is no quarrel and there is no fighting. They are peaceful people. They are royal people. They are peaceful people, and they don't like fight. It is very hard for them to express themselves until, of course, there is a safe space created for them to express themselves. Every time the space is hostile in the house, they better keep quiet. They better keep it to themselves. They hurt inside. They hurt inside, but they better hurt than bring up what they think when they think that may bring fight. Yes. So and that one now, they, like you say, someone can take advantage of that.
Yes. Because I'm imagining in a marriage setup, if you are married to this phlegmatic person, I mean, who has this personality, you can imagine if it's if it's let me take if it's a husband, if it is a husband is married to this wife who has this personality, phlegmatic personality. Do you think maybe, okay, of course, the husband might be doing, anything, just anything, because he knows that at the end of the day, at the end of the day, this one will not bring, any suggestion, anything. Just things will just follow.
Yeah.
Do you think that this marriage will last for long?
This marriage will last because the phlegmatic takes a lot of time to break.
Okay.
They have a lot of shock absorbers. So they take a lot of time to break. But once they are fed up, once they decide it is done, they have tried all the avenues to correct the thing. So when you are continuing to take advantage of them, they may take time before deciding to quit. But they are trying to bring you. Remember, we said they are royal people, and they like long-term friendships. They don't like overnight friendship and breakups tomorrow. They don't like getting married today and tomorrow they are broke. They are broken. So they may stay in a chaotic marriage for some time, even longer time, until they see trying to resolve the conflict that is there, until they decide that this other person is not willing, to try and resolve this thing. At that time, when they decide to leave, they never come back. Yes.
And you said about they might be having something that is eating them from inside. And if you're staying with that kind of a person, how will you know that this person has got something that is eating him or her inside?
That's why
so that maybe you can try to avoid.
Yes, that's why we are encouraging people to learn about personalities, because people are living with people they do not know. You don't know your personality, you don't know the personality of your spouse, you don't know how they think. Even you yourself, you are confused about yourself, about how you act. You don't know why you act the way you do. Leave alone how your spouse act. So this is why we encourage people to really try to study, get to these seminars, get to these places where you can understand, learn, be taught about interpersonal skills, how you can relate to people, and how you can understand other people, being empathetic, so that you can even hear people from their shoes, not always from your shoes. So and creating a safe space for your spouse to speak up. Because when the space is hostile, they will not speak. When they feel they are not understood, and when they feel like you are just chaotic, they just keep it to themselves. So it is upon us or anybody else to take time to learn. You know, there's nothing that you can do without learning. If we don't learn, we just become like animals. We just use instinct. Yes, we just use instinct. Why is this guy serious? Why is this guy hurting? I don't know. This one I don't know. Because you don't know nothing. Yes.
Okay, last week I had a friend of mine who was, saying that actually that guy is married. I was saying, my wife keeps, we were having a seminar somewhere, and we were talking about, we had to, to interact with one another, and this guy was complaining. My wife keeps secret, doesn't speak out something that is eating her from inside. And so the guy was like, what should I do? What should I do?
And number one, I don't know whether this wife of this guy was phlegmatic because we never met. Whether she is phlegmatic or not. Either way, regardless.
Yes.
Phlegmatic also can be very hostile in silence. So it is not only them who can be taken advantage of.
Okay.
They can also take advantage of other people by giving them the silent treatment or ghosting. They can ghost you. They can be silent for a month.
Yes.
And they thrive in silence.
Really?
And they enjoy silence like a fish in the ocean.
Yeah.
They enjoy that. When they are married to a sanguine who want to talk all the time, and they have now mute. They are mute for a month. You know now the other person is like is here. They want just to burst. And these phlegmatics also, they use that personality of theirs to use it as a weapon to fight this other person who is always talking. So they say, if you are good in talking and I'm good in silence, use your talking and use my silence. So in this case, you say a woman is keeping to herself. A lot of issues that they are not discussing with their spouses. We cannot say that it is because of personality. It could be several reasons because maybe, like we said, this house there is no safe space to express yourself. This house, maybe you have trust issues. Maybe they don't trust each other in this house. Maybe this lady has disclosed some information earlier in this marriage and it was used against them by the spouse. And maybe they were ashamed of it, or they were blamed for it, or they were, it was turned against them.
Okay.
So they decided to be keeping the information to themselves because of maybe there's no safe space to express yourself. Or maybe you said something and it was used against you, or maybe there is no trust in this family. So we cannot categorically say why this lady is keeping information from the husband. This specific case, they'll need to see a counselor one-on-one. Yes, marriage therapy.
Okay.
They sit down. At that space now, the counselor is able to bring out exactly the reason why this family is keeping secrets and why they are going through what they are going through. Yes.
Okay. I get you. And does this phlegmatic, these people that have this phlegmatic personality, can they blend with anyone?
Phlegmatic in terms of marriage? Or?
In terms of marriage and relationship, friendship. Let's maybe talk about marriage, because that's something that you have to stay with that person forever.
In terms of marriage, many times phlegmatic will be married to sanguines, because the reason why we get married to people is because we have needs. Some which we know and some that we do not know.
Yes.
We just find ourselves moving towards a direction without knowing that we are going there because we have needs. We need someone to feel those needs in us.
Yes.
Now for a phlegmatic, they don't talk.
Yes.
So they would look for someone who doesn't talk again. They look for someone who will fill that gap.
Let's talk at it.
So they go for a sanguine, and if not a sanguine, they go for a choleric. Yes, choleric, yeah, choleric. Because a sanguine talks a lot
Yes.
and brings life into the family.
Yes.
Because you know the phlegmatic doesn't bring life. In fact,
Yeah,
they drain the little life that is there.
Yes.
Because they can keep quiet for a whole week.
Yeah.
Just quiet for a whole week because you forgot to wish them happy birthday. Yes, you just forgot to wish them happy birthday. They stay silent for a whole week. So these people, you can't trust them with bringing life into family. But when you have a sanguine in between there, the sanguines they come with life.
Okay.
Sanguines will even dance in the house. They will do a lot of things. They will come up with a lot of things to bring life. So you will find phlegmatic always falling for sanguine or choleric. Choleric because cholerics are leaders. You see, cholerics are people who are leaders. They are naturally leaders. Every time, wherever they are, they just take the lead. Even when you start a committee, you are starting to discuss who is the chairman. They just volunteer. They say, I do it. I'm the chairman. And they come up with every program. They say, we will be contributing to the 1,000. And then we will go there. We have to send people there to go and see what. They are leaders. Yes. And the phlegmatic, I told you, they are supportive in nature. Yes. They don't want to initiate anything. They don't want to talk. They don't want to be there in the open. Yes. They want to be in the behind there. So they will be attracted to cholerics because cholerics are leaders so that they can support them from behind. Yes.
Wow. We're just about to wrap it up. But there is this one. There is that person. Maybe is our viewer.
Yeah.
And it happens that, you know, he or she is phlegmatic.
Yeah.
But then he's married to that person. You know, he's married to that person who they are sharing the same personality.
Yes.
That is phlegmatic.
Yes.
One word to that person.
Now, if you are sharing the same personality with your spouse, which is
phlegmatic.
Yeah. Which is very uncommon. Naturally, people don't, even magnets likes the.
Unlike poles,
what do they say?
Unlike poles attract, like poles repel.
Even in for this, they do repel. But of course, there are other marriages whereby people don't choose their spouse.
Yes,
they are chose for you. You come home one day and you found they fished somebody for you, and they are there, and it is either you take them or you take them.
Yes.
So, and you may find these people are from your personality. Now, it is going to be very hard because for two phlegmatics marrying each other, and everybody is draining.
And they have got children.
They have children.
Yeah, remember.
And everybody is draining life out of the marriage. None of them is adding. They are all draining. When they keep quiet, they all enjoy it, even for 2 months. They can even be quiet for 2 months because both of them are like fish now swimming in silence and ghosting and the silent treatment. Yes, so it can be chaotic because these people, they don't initiate things. This family will never initiate anything. They procrastinate a lot. They fear the limelight. They don't want to start something. They just want people to start so that they can come behind there and back up. You see, and now these are two people in the same house who cannot start a project.
Yes.
They don't want the limelight. They can keep quiet for 1 month. They procrastinate.
Yes.
And they fear to express their feelings so that they don't hurt people. So you can see the kind of chaos that is there. So it is very rare, first of all, for people to come together. But when they do, these are the kind of chaos we are going to witness.
If it happens, so a lot of chaos.
Yeah, if it happens, of course, there will be a lot of chaos. But for learned people and people who are willing to make their marriage work, they can always, these days there is a lot of learning. They can always learn about themselves, understand who they are, why they act the way they do, and the disadvantages of what they do. You know, there is something called personality disadvantage and personality advantages. Now they should learn about what are the disadvantages of our personality of phlegmatic. How is it going to ruin our life? How is it going to derail us behind? And what can we learn, though we are phlegmatic, both of us? how can we encourage ourselves to start initiating projects instead of waiting for people to initiate so that we back up? Now that we are two of us, let us add our strength together and start coming up with projects. Let us stop fearing the limelight. Let us get into the limelight. As a matter of fact, the limelight has never banned anybody. Yes.
Oh, that means that before maybe you start maybe a relationship, the one that maybe you have not started, but before you started, you need to know, their personality. And all that.
That's why
it's very important.
That's why we teach the personality, and you find people don't see the need, they don't care until they get themselves in the problem. Yeah.
Oh. Wow, that's good. So, guys, I know that you have learned something from this video. We just about to wrap it up. Of course, I'll give you a chance so that you can, give them the closing remark. But if you are new there, consider subscribing, as we said. Finger that notification bell so that any time that we upload video, you'll be the first person to see it. Like our videos, share our videos widely, and we'll be so grateful. So, Mr. Hamisi, we want to wrap this day. We want to close this day. What can you tell our viewers?
Just one word as we close. It is important that we know our personality. Otherwise, we'll be living like animals. Animals don't have personalities, or maybe they do and they don't know.
Yes.
So you'll find yourself behind the people, always derailing behind, and you don't know what's going on. You find yourself procrastinating things, you don't know the reason. You find yourself being so perfectionist that you can't even start something because you want it perfect, until you don't start nothing. And you don't know what's happening, and you don't even want to learn about what is happening. What I want to tell our viewers is that anytime you hear people are going to be taught about personalities and all these things, or if there is somewhere you can learn about personality, it is an added advantage if you would know yourself and know your spouse. This one will cut your fight by 80%. When you know my spouse is acting like this because he's from this personality, they can't help themselves. I'm acting like this because I'm from this personality. Maybe I can learn to manage myself like this. So do some learning, get some interpersonal skills, get some intrapersonal skills. There are intrapersonal skills where you learn about yourself, how you relate with yourself, and of course the interpersonal skills, how now you relate with other people.
They say learning does not stop. So you guys, until we meet in the next video, it's a bye-bye. Thank you.